Hey Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, shares, views, subscribes, comments, membership, generous donations of all forms. I appreciate it all. Let's go ahead and ring the bell. Let's clear out the energy and then we'll see what the Masters of Spirit has for us. Imagine yourself getting into one of those hot air balloons and it lifts off the ground and then it goes over, the wind starts carrying it and it leaves where there's ground underneath and it's just, you know how it goes across the ocean. And then you notice that it's kind of getting closer to the water. And so you take some of the sandbags out, you throw them over, and it's getting closer to the water. And then so you take the rest of the sandbags out and you throw them over and you try to make it so that the fire goes brighter or bigger in so that the balloon goes up, 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 but it continues to go down. And then you notice, you look down and you see that there's water down by your feet. So that means that the bottom of the, part that you're standing in the hot air balloon is already in the water, and then you look down again and you see it's at your the water's at your knees, and you end up having to jump out just to save yourself. That's what someone is feeling like. That level up that they thought that they was getting ready to have, it wasn't a level up. It was them leveling down. You know, like when you have one girlfriend or boyfriend and you see somebody else and you think that you trading up only to find out that you traded down. That's what somebody's feeling. Hey, Ayana. They allowed themselves to kind of get stuck in a situation that they should have jumped ship a long time ago. They should have never got into the hot air balloon, but they did. Bottom of the deck, worthiness. Maybe this is somebody who didn't realize their own worthiness, or they didn't see your worthiness. It's like they didn't see the real you, you know? Hey, J Mike. Hey, Shaylin. They just didn't see the real you. This was somebody who thought that they was going to get something for nothing, that sacred lust. And like I said, somebody thought that they was leveling up. But if you notice the difference, that person did not level up at all. They traded down. Hey, Tubi Records 885. Hey, Red Violet. Hey, Robert. They allowed themselves to go down, not up. And now this person is forgiving themselves, which is the best place for them to start, forgiving themselves. It's like they now know that they should have used their intuition. And if they had to use their intuition, they would have found out that this was just a cheap thrill. Just a cheap thrill. And now this person is actually mad at themselves for even leaving. For liberating what they thought that they needed to be liberated from. And now it's everything is shining bright of where they actually feel safe. It's like you can't deny this. And somebody wants your forgiveness because they feel like you had to actually cut the cord. They want your forgiveness for even having to put you through that. Hey, Galactic Goddess. Because you know what? Now that they look at both sides of the situation, they see that They didn't get nothing. They ended up with a lot less than what they started off with. Hey, Malcolm. And the truth, they know that the truth, they should have looked at both sides of the situation. They would have seen the truth. They should have looked at themselves. Hey, LP. Now this person has to start all over because everything has burnt to the ground. And this person, it's like they have to start all over by, number one, taking off this mask. Taking it off. Being true to who you are. Recognizing who you actually are and not trying to be somebody else who you're not. Someone realized that they needed to get into alignment. Alignment with God. They needed to open up their chakras so that they could be in alignment with themselves. They also needed to get grounded. I feel like this person, they really wanted to burn everything to the ground and start all over so that they can be grounded. They really want to manifest something else now. But this person feels like it's time for them to get creative. It's time for them to start this new season. This person is feeling a lot of grief. Hey, K Hypsee. This person is feeling really sad. But they feel like this is their time to feel sad. You know, this is that comeback season. That fuck around and find out season. And the thing that's really shining to this person is how they sabotage themselves. How they chose this. This is something that, like I said, they sabotage themselves throughout this. Confirmation, not only did they sabotage themselves, but more importantly, they sabotaged their own joy. They screwed it up. They messed up their own life. Go on out there, little girl. Sasha, what did I say? See, somebody, they used to feel safe. But you know what they realized? They didn't give back that same security to you. That's the same feeling of that safety and security. And they should have given it to you because you was always giving it to them. You were this divine person living in your purpose, an earth angel, and you made them feel safe. Even if they didn't make you feel safe, you still made them feel safe. Not only that, but now this person realizes everything that you had to go through, everything that you had to grow through. How you were this wounded healer and how you were trying to heal them and they betrayed you. Hey, 007 Maniac. Like I said, this person, they're mad at themselves because they refused to get in alignment before. You know, it's like they tried to blame something on you. Well, the reason this isn't going right in my life is because of collective. And the reason that's not going right in my life is because of collective. But now they have to understand and accept that you were not the cause of their problems. Never have been. Hey, High Priestess 369. They are the reason that they are in this position. They should have followed their own intuition when their intuition was telling them to wake up. It was trying to show them the way. But they just, laughed it off, said, well, bah, humbug, or whatever the fuck they said. But they refused to wake up when they were trying, their own intuition was telling them to wake the hell up. That's why they understand. They can't get mad at you because you didn't do it. See, you woke up. And this is why you're having that good juju. This is why good things, blessings are coming to you. Because when your intuition told you to wake up, you did. You stopped trying to blame someone else for your pain, for your misery. You remember the things that you went through, but you didn't, you no longer held that, like it was that sword in your heart, like it was a badge of honor. You just remembered it because you remember where you're not going to go back to. You know what? You had a radical rebirth, and the thing that you decided that you're going to do is you were not going to be afraid to love. Love you first. Put you first, honor you, and realize how worthy you are. And see, this is what this person is thinking about. That it's time for them to love them, to get creative with how they showed up in the world, how they chose to show love. Somebody has a deep desire to really get grounded. This is what they think about. Whenever they're waking up, they want to put both their feet on the ground. They want to stomp their feet on the ground so that they can remind themselves. They want to go outside and put their bare feet on the ground so that they can remind themselves to stay grounded. This person is realizing that everything that they do comes back on them. So now that this person is realizing this, they realize the things that they harvested before, and they thinking about what they're harvesting now. This person is also deciding to surrender this feeling of grief, of self-pity, of feeling like somebody owes them something because they owe it to themselves. And another thing that they are really having a radical rebirth is they decided that they're going to go ahead and answer the call. They're reaching out to God. And they hope God allows them to reclaim their spot. This person has a desire to talk to you. They want to tell you so much that ego, that pride kept them from saying before. So much because they were in this fear that they had to measure up to some idea that somebody else had. But now they realize that what they were looking at, they allowed somebody else to control them. They allowed somebody else to turn them into something that they were not. And this is why they feel this shame. This is part of what they want to talk to you about. They want to let you know that whenever they thought that they had to be something that they weren't, that's whenever they realized that they were losing a lot, that they lost a lot. Now this person is thinking about how these other people that they thought about were so high on the hog or high up the pedestal, how those people are just wearing masks. They are not who they really say that they are. These are fake people. These are fictitious people. These are people that really don't have it going on. Hold on, let me let you know who out. Go, 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 go. If I didn't, she was gonna be back 20 times until I did. It's something about them realizing that those other people were just wearing masks. They were just trying to fake the funk, trying to act like they were somebody that they weren't. Hey, behaving goals. Something about them realizing these people were just fake. It's almost like it was a miracle. And that's whenever they realized that they didn't level up whenever they were trying to be with them. They actually leveled down. So this person, it was a miracle that they realized that the level up came with you. You know, whenever you cut that cord, that's whenever they found out a lot. That's whenever the secrets were revealed and they were so shocked. And it's like these are the same secrets that they refused to see before. It's almost like when you decided that it was time for you to leave, that's whenever they finally ripped off that mask to see and face what they refused to see and face before. They were pissed. And they were yelling at these people because they felt like they had been duped. They were so upset. The anger that they felt on the inside, the rage that they allowed to come on the outside, how they stopped talking to people. And if they did talk to those same people, they talked to them with a level of disgust. What was supposed to have been pleasure turned out not to be pleasure. It just left them open. It left them open to being attacked. It left them open to being duped. It was not pleasure. That was pain. Being away from you, they realize what worthiness is. They realize what true love is. They realize what loyalty is. They realized a lot. This person, when they really dawned on them what they lost, it's like they got mad again because they knew that they lost the ability to have these miracles. That's when they realized that you brought the miracle, that you are the miracle. Like I said, this is when this person realizes that they were betrayed. And they, while they were betraying you, they were sitting here acting like it was no big deal, like they was just doing a damn thing, like they had something to prove. But the only thing that they had to prove was that there was a whole side of a situation that they didn't see. And whenever they was living out loud and acting like they was some type of wild child, that's whenever it's like not until after you left, that's when they realized how they had been even acting. Like I said, they surrendered the resistance, the ability to resist They no longer wanted to resist growing up. They no longer wanted to resist taking responsibility. They surrendered that. And now what they do want to do is they want to manifest those blessings too. They want to manifest just like you. They want to be able to bring you joy. They want to be able to bring you joy and to let you know that they too are a wounded healer, like you both are of the same cloth. But right now, the truth of the matter is, they feel like they are living in shame. Until they can speak to you and clear everything up, this person feels like they are living in a world of shame. Yes, Ayana, yes, she is. High maintenance, honey. Shit. I'm glad she ain't got to get her hair done, her nails done. She does, but you know, she goes to the groomers for that. Like I said, what this person it shines the most with this person, or what they is still at the forefront of their mind, is how they sabotage themselves, how they messed everything up. They could have been having this good juju with you had they only woken up. Had they only decided that it was time for them to grow up and have a radical rebirth. Had they only decided that instead of them trying to live out loud and be somebody that they weren't, that they could actually see the opposite side of the spectrum, to see what was actually being hidden in the shadows, to actually use their intuition and to be able to actually see what was going on the other side. But they didn't. What's the message, Spirit? And this is what really upsets this person. They feel like they're still going through this storm, a storm of their own making, a storm that they are ready to get out of, a storm that they're trying to find the calm. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Anything else from this stack? Ooh. Anything else from this stack? Thank you. Yep. When they betrayed you, they betrayed themselves. When they betrayed you, that's whenever all the miracles in their life stopped. And the reason that the miracles stopped is because they realized that they betrayed God and one of God's angels. What else, Spirit? Hey, Oracle Knowledge, how are you? What's the message, Spirit? Yep. Secrets have been revealed. And now this person understands what you were trying to tell them. You know, but the way that you were talking to this person, you didn't want to tell them, you know, you were trying to think of the nicest way to tell them. You were trying to tell them in a way that they could understand. But like I said, they was at a place where they didn't want to hear it. That they couldn't even conceptualize it, because they thought that they was leveling up whenever they was getting rid of you. And they was in such a rush to try and level up, they didn't stop at one time to sit back and think about everything that they were about to give up. They weren't grounded. They didn't realize that whenever they left you, they was getting ready to burn everything to the ground. And then they had the nerve to think that they was the one who could build everything up. But whenever they saw that everything was going down and not going up, that's when they got pissed off. That's whenever they got mad at themselves. Especially whenever they realized that nobody was there to help them, to encourage them, to promote them. That you was the biggest cheerleader. You was the one who had not just that fearless love, but that unconditional love. You was the one who helped them be creative. You was the one who was the true level up. Like I said, this person, their intuition is telling them it's time for them to apologize. It's time for them to ask for your forgiveness. They're tired of going down. They're tired of sinking further and further down because they feel like they're in the middle of quicksand with no way out. Hey, Travion, how are you? Bottom of the deck. Temperance. This is how they look at you. And it's like they didn't want to tell anybody, but this is what they still think of you. You know, very humble. Like you didn't walk around saying, I'm an earth angel. Woohoo, look at me. Earth angel. Look at these wings. See these wings? You were very humble. That's why the wheel of fortune was going in your favor. And you know, it's like this person, they definitely got a real message, a clear message that they were receiving judgment whenever you left, when they forced you to leave. And it's because this person thought that they had all the tricks, that they held all the cards. And now looking back, they didn't hold any of the cards at all, that they were only tricked. This person is watching you, single, self-sufficient, and in the jungle or in the forest alone. This person wants to reach out to you, you know, but I feel like at one point this person, they've always wanted to reach out to you, but at one point this person was afraid of what everybody else was going to say. But the more that they worried about what everyone else was going to say, the more depressed they got with what you were going to actually and ultimately think. Hey, Wingseer. See, nothing was working out. The further they went, the more more distant they got, the less things were working out. Nothing was adding up. But this person still thinks of you as an earth angel. They are more convinced now than they were before. Because whenever they were with you, everything was balanced. You kept everything going. You kept them balanced. You helped them to keep their feet on the ground, to be grounded, to feel confident, to feel like, yes, they can do it. But whenever they left you, they stopped believing in themselves because other people started chipping at their confidence. What's the message, Spirit? This is how they feel right now, like it's all over. And they are so confused with these people. They stopped to they didn't allow themselves to stop long enough to see that these people were just that they had their secrets, that they were hidden enemies, that they were had these ulterior motives. They didn't stop long enough to see that this was a relationship that they should have held in high esteem and high honor, because this was a relationship that was blessed by God. They didn't stop long enough to even see that this was, you was their perfect match. But now, this is how they're feeling. Brokenhearted. Like they did it to themselves. And they still don't even really know what to say. But what they do want to tell you is that you won. If that's what it is that you wanted, they want you to know that you won. I feel like this person knows that you still care for them, that you still think about them, that you still want the best for them. Even though they did some things that, they're not proud of, how they came against you, like waging war against you, they still know that they feel they still watch you. They watch you in secret. It's like they still think the world about you. And you are definitely on their mind. I feel like this person, they know that they talked about you, that they gossiped, that they shared some of your most sacred secrets. And this is what has them all caught up. The fact that they thought that whatever they had was going to work anywhere. This is how they know that they were very immature. They weren't thinking clearly. This person realizes now that they put a big burden on not only your heart, but their heart. Especially whenever they chose to work with someone else. And this other person that they chose to work with, all they did was bring war. All they did was bring strife. All they did was just bring a lot of problems. And they wanted to bring problems to this relationship. They wanted you to feel left out. They didn't want you to feel like you were a part of anything. Hey, SNK Pokey. And they know that you're protecting yourself. They know that you may have them blocked. But they know that they have to invest in themselves in order for them to be able to travel towards you. Because if they don't, they know that you'll just keep them blocked. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. Yep. You're heavy on this person's mind. And I feel like they feel like you think about them too, but you are heavy on this person's mind. And like I said, they watch you in secret. It's whether they're looking at you on the internet, but they're doing it in secret. And they're not really telling anybody or sharing to anybody, but they want to turn this wheel of fortune in their favor again. They want to send you a message. They want to let you know how much they care and how they apologize. They want to let you know that they've actually grown up, that they know how to discern spirits, that they know how to talk again, that they want you in their life again, that you are their sunshine. They want you to know that now that they've gone within and they know how to spot the devil now. They know that they were acting in their most devilish ways, but now they've done some soul searching, they've done some thinking, they've done some growing, they've done some maturing. What's the message, Spirit? They want you to know that you were the strongest person that they've ever met and the most gentlest person that they've ever met. And they didn't realize that it was this person that they supposedly was to look up to was the one that was starting all of the shit. They was talking bad about you, whereas they should have told this person they don't even want to hear it. Yeah, this person is trying to hold things together. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? This has been a long time coming. It's taken them a while, a while to accept the truth. It's taken them a while to realize that they cut out their own happiness and that you are their family, that you are, whenever they're with you, they are at home. And they realize now they should have never left you alone. If anything else, they should have been more balanced in them weighing what was valuable and what wasn't, and what their plan was and what should have never been their plan. They should have stuck up for you. They should have held you close. Haystack 777. What's the message? This person is really having a lot of regret. They realize they didn't go in the right direction. If anything, they went in an absolute wrong direction. Once again, this person wants to send you a message. But I feel like this person is still kind of afraid of any tricks and games that, or bullshit or whatever that this coven or whoever came up with. I feel like this person is still kind of afraid of whether it's somebody that they trusted in, somebody that they should have kept their guard up, but they let their guard down. But this person is still thinking about that. Yeah. It's like they still are kicking themselves because they should have chose better. Excuse me. They should have chose better. What's the message? Yeah, because this group that they worked with, it was this group that caused all this conflict. It was that group that caused so much conflict between you two. And then now they feel stuck. This is why they're sitting here watching, they have no choice but to sit here and watch you. And it's like this person can't sleep at night. They're having problems eating. They're having problems concentrating. They're having problems, all of that, because they know that they broke your heart. They broke not only your heart, but your trust. And then, like I said, you are out here doing it alone. And they know that you know the truth. And the truth is, they're not happy without you. Not at all. Not one bit. Hey, Brenda, how are you? What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, just the fact that this person did not, come and apologize. Just the fact that or show up in a loving way. Just the fact that this person was very egotistical, very stoic with you, didn't communicate. Now this person realizes because they weren't happy with themselves. They was never happy. That's why it was easy for this devil to come in and manipulate them, because they weren't happy and they realized that now. What's the message? Hold on, y'all. I got something in the oven. I'll be right back. Let me turn these lights on while I'm doing this too. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I didn't want my food to burn. Yeah, this person realized they weren't happy. That's why it was so easy for the devil to come in. That's why it was so easy for them to be manipulated, bamboozled, led astray. That's why it was so easy for them to feel like they was trading up, only to realize they traded down. They didn't upgrade. Not at all. Upgrade means that you get something better, something more, That's not what that person got. Because every day that they got up, they realized that there was more and more and more in their emotions. That's what this person didn't realize. That it was going to be like whenever they thought that, I'm getting ready to leave this. I can't wait to get rid of this. Just like you have a car that's paid off and it runs perfectly, but you think you need to have something that looks real snazzy on the outside. And so you go to the dealership and you get you a brand new car, and then, you get it home and everything. And you're like, well, shit, yeah, I knew that the payments was going to be this much, but I didn't realize I wasn't going to be able to go out. I didn't realize I was going to maybe have to get a part-time job to afford this motherfucker. And then the price of gas went up, and it costs how much for insurance? And wait, is how much for the maintenance? I'm in a rich person's car. I ain't no rich person. That's whenever you realize you was good with what you had. Did you really upgrade? Or did you just do something different? Put yourself in a position where instead of you being able to travel all the time, now you can only travel like once a year, but you don't want to travel in the car because you don't want to put gas in it. You don't want to put the miles on it. Somebody realized that they should have stood up for themselves. They should have been able to say exactly what it was that they wanted, and then not be afraid to walk away. Because had they walked away, they would have had the backing of God behind them. That's what they realized. They should have stood up for themselves. They should have said, oh, fuck that. Get that shit the fuck on out of here. Yeah, do what you want to do. I'm still going to say no. I'm still going to walk away. I'm still going to be good. That's what somebody realized that they should have done. Because God was watching them. God was the one that was protecting them. God was the one that was trying to get them to wake up. Listen, don't do that. Just go on there with the earth angel. Trust me, I got both of y'all. Don't give up your seat for these devils. But somebody was like, but they're making it seem so flashy. So, look how glittery it is over there. Now this person is realizing that they should have left it all alone. That they didn't. They left the 10 of Pentacles and got the 4 of Pentacles. And then they felt too embarrassed to really say anything. They felt too immobilized to be able to really move. Like I said, they wanted to come talk to you, but they didn't want to, with their sword down, but they didn't want you to be like, I told you so, motherfucker, didn't I just tell you all this bullshit? Da, 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 da. So they didn't want to do that, but they are thinking about everything that you said to them. They're thinking about everything that you said to them. And then when they're thinking about when you stop talking, that's the part that got them the most. That's whenever everybody started coming out. That's whenever something clicked about what you said about you're going to have to protect yourself. That somebody was so busy thinking that they was getting ready to reach for the stars, only to find out that they had the star. They had the one with the 10 of Pentacles, the one with the spiritual inheritance, the one with the big money. Like I said, this is whenever he realized who his home was and who he truly loved. He, she, however the shoe fits. This is when somebody realized, and they was thinking that you was coming back, and they realized you wasn't coming back. That's whenever they realized how much they loved you. When you wasn't coming back. And you know what? This was what they get. This was justice. Don't let that big booty and a smile get you. Sometimes you need that flat pancake ass. Sometimes you need to be able to look at somebody and be like, even though your ass look like a crepe, I like that crepe. I like that crepe. I like that flat chest. I like you just the way you are. Because the best part about you is the heart. Forget that anybody can go get implants in the BBL. Anybody can get that. But what's their heart space like? What can they do there? What do they got up here? Inside their head. What do they know? What can they create something out of nothing? If you hungry and they hungry, can they say, what, stay here? I got an idea. And come back later with a bag of groceries and they ain't have to sell no ass or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? It means something. It truly does mean something. What's the message, Spirit? Anything else in this deck? I just saw 48 on the timer. Yeah. Somebody realizing that, you was full of good ideas. You didn't have a problem protecting yourself. Not at all. But you knew you wasn't going to sit around for no damn bullshit. That's why you called judgment on that whole situation. And you went on the calmer waters. You was not going to sit around with no bullshit. And like I said, somebody knows that they should have went and talked to you a long ass time ago. Instead, they chose not to say anything. And this is where they at now. Miserable. Miserable. And we ain't talking about the ballet or the play. They're miserable. We talking about how they feeling. Miserable. They thinking that they gonna get better than the star. whenever all they did was just get played. And then the people that they went to left their ass, left them in shambles, and didn't give a shit. They did all that shit, all that trying to, trying to work with who they thought was cool, trying to attack you and everything, only to find out that somebody was working for the fucking devil. And their plan was to take you out. But see, they didn't realize this until later. And this is why this person is having problems sleeping, because they didn't realize this until later, that these were your secret enemies. Confirmation. Now this King of Cups realizes the truth of the whole situation. Hey, Miss Mahogany Drag, how are you? Would you say, oops? What's the message, Spirit? Anything else from this deck? Yeah. Somebody, they felt like, you know what? They was ashamed to talk to you. They was ashamed to talk to you because they felt like they caught themselves up, and whenever, and they felt like you knew that they caught themselves up, or like you knew that like they was caught. That's why they were ashamed to talk to you. That's why they were ashamed to say anything. And that's the truth. And when they know the truth is too, that you the one who has the spiritual gifts. You're the one who, like I said, are on the right-hand side of God. That you're the one who's worthy. You're the one who's blessed. You're the one who brings the miracles. You're the one who can pull the rabbit out the motherfucking hat. You're the one who has these, as far as you giving and you receiving, you did that all the time. You had came up with all these plans, all these ideas. You were the one who was a leader. You was the one who was an inspiration. An inspiration. But yet they felt like they needed to wait for something else. Like somebody else was going to be able to produce something else. This King of Wands. But now, now that they sat there and looked at this King of Wands, they see that this King of Wands was jealous of you, of the relationship that y'all had. What else, Spirit? Anything else? I thought I saw one flip. Maybe not. Anything else? Let's get a different deck. Yeah, I feel like this person really wants to give to you like you gave to them. Now this person really wants to put into this relationship. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes somebody got to be left to their own devices so that they can understand that you didn't hurt nobody but yourself. Confirmation, you didn't deceive nobody but yourself. That was it. They thought that they was doing something, and this King of Cups thought he was deceiving somebody, but he realized he deceived himself and was afraid to do anything and too lazy to do anything because he was so worried he was going to hurt the feelings of the devil. But now this person sees exactly who they was dealing with, but they didn't want to see it before. They couldn't see this before. They couldn't see that somebody was just trying to end you and end your happiness. They didn't want you to have nothing. But you know what? You kept it pushing, kept it moving, and you got everything that you deserve. God gave to you whenever they refused to. And so this you're still you I feel like, you know, this emperor and all those minions that was sitting there gossiping about you, they all receiving judgment. Every last one of them. They want to act like they are in phase. They want to act like, oh, I'm still good. I'm doing I'm this, I'm that. No. Every dog is gonna have his day. Every dog. Hey Rainsy, how are you? Nobody is immune to judgment. And karma don't ever lose a fucking address. What else, Spirit? Oh, goodness. Yes. Because they was trying to get you out the way. This is too many. They was trying to get you out the way. Yeah, this was so all this fell down the ground because you know what the devil didn't want? The devil didn't want you to be around. This is a lot. What else, Spirit? But Spirit was talking to you the entire time. Can't make this up. Spirit, like I said, you sit on the right-hand side of God. Yeah, you sit on the right-hand side of God. And that's when God told you it's time for you to leave. That God got something better planned for you. Yep. Put that old shit to the side. God is getting ready to give you a new love. Doing a Jody, what's her name? Jody Watley? I'm looking for a new love, baby. A new love. That one. Yep. And see, like I said, somebody, they dethroned themselves. All because they was afraid of this magician. Somebody who felt like had all this power. You know, that could do shit behind underneath the moon and cause all these kind of great crazy actions and shit like that. But you know what? You wasn't worried about that. You had already you was worldly yourself. You was a star. You was the one who was going to be the one. You was able to take care of yourself, baby. Let me tell you something. Not only was you able to take care of yourself, you brought the motherfucking house down. Hello. You was like, oh, you bitches and hoes. Well, come on. Come on. Who want to lose their name first? Because I'm about to kick ass and take your name. Step up to the motherfucking plate. What's the message, Spirit? What is the message? Ain't nobody afraid of no fucking devil. Devilish energy. Narcissist. Ain't nobody afraid of all that. Nothing that like that. Fuck that. What's the message? Especially if you know, like I say, if God is for me, who the fuck am I going to sit here and fear? Absolutely nobody. Yeah. You getting a new love. You got something better coming. What's the message, Spirit? And God is so proud of you right now, having to even deal with this bullshit. Having to even deal with this motherfucking bullshit. I'm telling you, there's a lot to keep dropping. See, somebody realized now that they did not have courage at all. They didn't have no courage, and they sure the fuck should have moved with caution. Especially this decision to play around with the fucking devil. Play around with that devil if you want to. Confirmation. That's why they got fucked up. They got fucked up and they lost it all. You know, now somebody is seeing, they looking at what balance is. Now they're thinking about, damn, I should have put into this earth angel, especially since after you left, that's when they pain started. That's whenever that's what confirmation. That's when the devil started celebrating, like, oh, it's all us now. All them flying monkeys, come around here. Come on, come on. We got them. Ain't nobody here to protect them. We could do what the fuck we want to do to him or her, however the shoe fit. What's the message, Spirit? Hey, Addie, I love you more. You know, it's like, hey, Saida, how are you? Yeah, it's like people have to be careful. Be careful, especially if you got somebody that is people. See, people want to sit there and go, they loudmouth, they this, they that, they this and that. They, but you know what? There's a reason that the earth angel, that the chosen one, is not afraid to speak up for themselves, especially if they didn't have a whole lifetime of somebody trying to take them down and tear them down. That's whenever somebody, yeah. And even if they want to double and triple team them, that's whenever that the earth angel is not one to fucking play with. If you want to have 3 over here, 5 over here, 4 over there, and 10 all around, that means that the earth angel is stronger than everybody, because they ain't coming by themselves. They got to gang up on you. So somebody should have recognized that. Why there's so many trying to gang up on this one person at one time, and she or he is able to stand their motherfucking ground. Red Rover, send that flying monkey right the fuck on over. There's something in that. What's the message, Spirit? Somebody should have recognized. They recognize that shit now. Especially whenever they didn't get the level up they thought they was going to get. They recognize all that shit now. Confirmation. That and then some. Anything else? What's the message? Anything else? Yeah. Somebody's realizing they should have invested in you. If they would have invested in you, everything would have worked out just fine. Now, like I said, somebody want to send you a message. Everything would have worked out just fine. And they hate this choice. This choice that they made, they want to get rid of that shit. This is everybody, like I said, everybody's getting karma. Everybody's getting their just due. And this person that made that bad decision, they getting their karma too. Like I said, that Wheel of Fortune stopped turning in their favor. And they realized you was the only one that got victory. That's it. You was the one that came with the compassion. You was the one that was their biggest cheerleader. That's why I said this person wants to send you a message. But they're worried they wonder if you're going to be defensive, if you're going to tell them, click them, or if you'll actually be receptive. What else, Spirit? What else? Anything else? Thank you. Yep. They know that you are the brightest star in the sky. That you are. They hold you like so high up. That's how they think about you. Like there's nobody above you. You were a healer. You're inspirational. You were a guide. You know, like I said, this person has a lot of respect for you. And they hate that they didn't see that before. They hate that they didn't open up their eyes and notice all of these attributes that you have that nobody else has. They hate that they didn't notice how balanced that you were, how much of an earth angel you were. But like I said, when they made that fateful decision, and it was a fateful decision, that's whenever they realized they got themselves stuck. That's when they realized that level up, it just tore everything down. With the Ten of Wands and the Tower. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and close it right here. See what this little girl outside is barking about, because she's going crazy. Just in case I got to go out there. All right. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate everyone. I may be back later this evening after I eat, as long as I don't get the itis and be like, hey, Sydney. But as long as I can stay awake, I'll come back. I love y'all. Thank you so very much. See you in a little bit. Bye now.